Welcome to the Cannabis Podcast series hosted by AIM North America. AIM North America is a nonprofit trade alliance representing organizations that buy, sell, implement, manufacture, and/or use data capture technologies, including RFID, barcode, RTLS, and more. We're going to discuss how QR codes are increasing the customer experience. I'm Duane Roebuck, chair of AIM North America Work Group and retail and IoT channel manager for Blue Star US. I will be moderating today's discussion with Travis Wayne and Dave Eagleson. Travis and Dave, please introduce yourselves.
Good,
Starting
Travis.
with Travis.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Thanks, AIM, for coordinating this event. I'm Travis Wayne. I'm the product manager here at TechLinks. We're a global company supplying label design software and label management solutions. Dave?
Yeah, I'm Dave Eagleson. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Outlaw Technology. We specialize in data collection, capture, updates for the cannabis industry and seed to sale systems such as Metric.
Hey, thanks again for being on here with me, you guys. Truly appreciate it. So, Travis, first question is for you. Can you please tell our audience how QR codes are or could be used in cannabis dispensaries and stores?
Sure. So maybe just a little bit about a QR code. I mean, the nice thing about it that sets it apart from a UPC is the ability to encode all kinds of data within that QR code. You can put a hyperlink in the QR code, and with your phones, and as you said, many people already know how to use it. They put their camera up and boom, you can go to a website right by scanning it. I think we'll get to it a little bit later. There's some security implications with that because you can get renegade barcodes out there. So I think it's in the ecosystem, we need to all be a little bit more diligent about what we're scanning and how we're scanning. But again, we'll talk to that point later. So why use or how can a QR code be used in the cannabis industry? One is it can be used to access compliance or verification of a product by scanning that code. And every state, I believe, that has legalized cannabis from seed to sale traceability and that leverage systems such as Metric or BioTrack or Leaf data systems. I'm sure there's a plethora of others that are out there that do a great job. They'll assign a unique identifier that may be embedded in a hyperlink that is then added to that QR code. So when you scan it, you're getting a hyperlink that may be bringing you to one of those companies' websites for additional information about that particular product. So where was the product grown? Where was it transferred to along its supply chain? What are some of the lab results associated to it? Again, it's unique to each plant, so it's all serialized. So that unique identifier will be tracked along the supply chain.
What would be, some recommendations you might make to a business that's interested in implementing QR codes in their stores or on their product packaging to, make that experience a little bit better?
Travis is the expert. Travis is the
Yeah,
expert.
I would say it's not the QR code's fault. QR codes are built to have correction, right? So part of even a QR code could be missing, but there's correction that's built into that QR code that will still get you the right information and get you to the website that you want to go to or it's designed to bring you to. Then, of course, there's all of the other variables. There's the variable, like you mentioned, of the carrier, of your device itself, of the site that you're going to and its response times, of what it's actually trying to load on that site. Is it trying to load all of the information associated to a product, or does it load a lightweight front end to that product where you can then go and dig in, get more information? I feel like there shouldn't be an issue with speed related to an actual QR code. It's often other elements that are in play.
Like based off of your response, I would say, you wouldn't recommend, taking a QR code straight to a video or something like that. Like keep it simple, get it to the web page, let the people navigate, to where they need to go once they get in.
Mhm.
And hopefully the speed takes care of itself. But like you said, there are so many variables into it. I don't know how you can necessarily blame the QR code.
I guess you could say you put a extremely long URL with a lot of tracking elements in it. You've seen those URLs where it like just on and on, character after character for forever. If you did something like that, maybe you could struggle with that particular
Okay.
QR code. So I guess I would recommend, more of a short, lightweight, clean URL to
Yeah.
leverage to get.
And Travis, you mentioned early on in the discussion about security and being, authentication. What more do you want to touch on that in terms of, people being, at least mindful of it could redirect me in the wrong way?
Yeah. Well, I
No.
don't I know on most devices it'll allow you to at least take a visual look at the QR code. Many people just scan and click, boom,
Yep.
and they're away they go. And wherever it brings them, it brings them. I think it's, just to be a little bit more diligent about it is when you do scan it, you can hit the little drop down, you can take a look at what that URL is. You want to make sure it's an HTTPS URL, that it's bringing you to a secure site. You want to make sure it has some relevance to what QR code you actually are scanning. That's not always, possible because sometimes the QR code brings you to the not the particular event, but the person hosting an event, which might have a different name. So, that, but just making sure it is HTTPS at a minimum is helpful, and then that there should be something in that QR code that makes sense to what you just scanned.
Yeah, and I would caution people, not just in cannabis, but everywhere. Be careful of what you're scanning. One of the things we're seeing here in our area is where at the gas station, at some gas stations, they have QR codes. And so the criminals have already started posting another QR code on top of that QR code. So you think you're going out paying for some gas and, you're really giving them your information to be robbed, blind. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think in some of the prep work we did for this is that we didn't. It was brought up the Cushing
Yeah.
yeah,
attacks.
question.
Yeah, so the QUISHING, so related to the phishing attacks that you might get through email. Well, using a QR code, somebody can do exactly what you said. They put up their own QR code that brings you to a nefarious site, right? Or
Right.
brings you to a site that may even look like it's the right site. And then you enter all of your personal information and now they have it. So just be wary of those things and make sure that the site you're being brought to does look valid. Hopefully, mobile device manufacturers and your browsers that you have running, like Chrome or Safari or whatever it's bringing to you on your particular device, is doing some of that security for you. I mean, I think all of the technology players they play a role in making sure things are secure. So they also need to be, hey, are you sure you want to go to this site? Kind of stop you before you make a mistake.
Yeah, and I
No,
think
no,
just
no.
go ahead,
Go
Dwayne. I was
ahead,
just
Dave.
say the other thing I was just say is look, despite all that, I mean, it's always, buyer beware, right? Be careful with what you're doing and stuff. But that's not to dissuade people from using QR codes. The other side of it is if it's directed to the right location, then you have more confidence that it is the state of California giving you data on recall because it's a state site. If it's the state of California providing you lab data, you have pretty much high degree of confidence that it's probably legitimate. So I think the other side that it equally is concerning of being redirected. I think it's also could be a good conduit to truly get you to the source of truth. Look, in today's world, everyone's not sure what's up, what's down, what's right, what's wrong. I think, the one thing about this is, as a consumer of products, I'd like to hit something, go to a site and go, okay, I feel pretty good that the test results that I'm looking at are probably legit. You know what I mean? Where if it
Right, right,
redirected
right.
me to some crazy site, I'd be like, yeah, this is probably not something I should buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I don't want to scare
Hey,
people, is all I'm saying. I think it's a good point, Travis, and that's why I brought it up and wanted you to touch on it because you have the expertise. But look, I think like anything else, I mean, I just had an email come in with a PDF that I had to call the client, go, "Why'd you send me this?" Like, don't open it. You're like, "It's a PDF." He's like, "Don't open it."
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, we're struggling with that in our everyday lives. And hey, I want to thank you
Yep.
guys for bringing up that quishing, because it was something that I hadn't, heard of until a couple of days ago. I knew it was going on. I didn't realize, there was a formal name out there for it. I'm actually surprised it's not an acronym with the way things are. But, for our listeners out there that want to get information on the Cushing, AIM has an infographic that provides tips to help and avoid those attacks. And you can visit and download that page at www.aim-na.org. And, it's a free copy out there for anybody who wants to download that. So, we're gonna, bring this to a wrap in a minute. Before we do, I want to ask you guys, one final, thought or question. QR codes have become a staple in modern consumer behavior, driven by their practicality and convenience. The best QR codes have an incentive to scan, such as getting a menu, a call to action. Can each of you please share your overall thoughts on QR codes and what businesses and consumers should take away from our discussion?
Yeah, sure. QR code, I mean, they're not going to go away, right? I don't even think they're optional. I think they're just going to be part of the solution. I'm sure things will improve with different advancements in the future, but right now, QR codes seem to be the path forward. Um,
Especially in the dining experience.
yeah, right.
Actually, still enjoy, just being able to scan, not waiting on somebody to bring me a menu.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we have AI, artificial intelligence happening around us as well. And I think, there will be elements of that will help ensure that when you do scan a QR code, that it can do a lot of legwork for you without you having to try to figure it out. And hopefully those will make things better and more secure. I think having it tied to the unique ID is essential because now it is each individual product. And if that product doesn't exist, um, with that unique ID, it's this is a counterfeit. This is not something I should be using. I should go back where I bought it from. I should return it and inform them as well. And I would say the last thing is that it'll likely, with a FISMA standard, which we didn't talk at all about. I don't think we got into that. Just
Nah,
with food, is just there'll probably come some alignment in some way, shape, or form, just to prevent confusion across the tracking and traceability of items.
Yeah,
So,
and I guess my takeaway or what I want to leave behind is, look, it's here to stay. We're going to have it. Let's take advantage of it. I think QR codes will get evolved where they'll also start having additional, like Travis pointed out, AI, different other tool sets. There'll be things embedded to make it more like this is not counterfeit. This is truly what we say it is. I think the reality of it is, unfortunately or fortunately, society's gotten very comfortable with our phone becomes our Bible. When I say that, I mean that I use it to look up my maps, how to get places, how to do things. I think people get comfortable where, if I could scan it and get data about the product I'm going to ingest or put in my body, I feel better knowing what I'm doing. Look, more sometimes can be better, especially if the more is validated. And I think, again, be careful that, you redirect it correctly. But I mean, I think right now, this industry, because it's so new, should advance itself and not just rely on a SKU or it's part of a batch. It should get down to the eaches because Travis pointed out clearly, if I put a serialized number on there and I have 1 to 100 and this one has 105, there is no 105.
right,
That
right,
doesn't
right,
exist. So
right.
therefore, somebody just took a number and extended it and made a fake product, put my label on it, sold it as my own, and took the money. So I think that's also helpful in this industry because I do believe, because it is moving so quickly, growing so fast, there is a lot of that happening. Different states, product that I get in California will have the same name in New York. Interesting. Not sure that's probably right. So those kind of things I think will be well in this QR code will help hopefully wrap themselves around it. Like I said, the retail ID recall in California was just an interesting example where the state sees it as I can inform consumers very quickly. That I think is where FISMA and some of the things we kind of touched on very high level becomes really valuable to consumers. Like I said, don't tell me that I shouldn't eat a particular product because, like I said, that product I've already eaten, I've already gotten sick, I've already,
Right.
holy crap, it's way too late.
Yeah, no, totally agree, especially with this particular product. I don't know many people who, you know, purchase it and then say, let me sit on it for a couple of weeks.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and for anyone out there, AIM does have work groups that's focused around food safety. If you wanted to learn more about FSMA, I'm sure you could go to the main AIM page, which is AIM www.aim-na.org. Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining today's Cannabis Podcast series. And thank you, listeners out there, for joining this Cannabis Podcast series hosted by AIM North America. If anyone is interested in learning more or to listen to past podcasts, please visit. We're hammering this website home on this one, www.aim-na.org. Also, if anyone's interested in attending one of our cannabis work group meetings and being a part of this, please feel free to reach out. The work group meets monthly, the third Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you'd like to, join the next meeting or, a future meeting, please feel free to reach out to email info at aim-na.org, and they can give you the links to attend, the various work groups. So thanks again, guys. I truly appreciate, your help with this, and looking forward to the next one. Have a
No
great
problem.
day.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dwayne.
Take care, Travis. See you, Dwayne.